Yes, indeed, this restaurant has a rooftop bar with views of the Taj Mahal in the distance.
Voici Slow Trip.
We're traveling around the world one trip at a time.
Allons-y.
This episode is part 4 of our 17-day trip across parts of northern India. Our plan was to visit New Delhi, to see the Taj Mahal in Agra, to spend some time in the holy city of Varanasi, and then travel onward to Jaipur, and then finish by celebrating New Year's Eve in the amazing city of Udaipur. In this episode, we've traveled to the city of Agra to see the Taj Mahal.
Kind of huge in the distance. We're going to walk over there. We're not going to go inside, but we'll be on the outside of it and see what we can see up close.
Having come so far and waited so long to see the Taj Mahal, Bougie and I have some strong feelings about what it's like once you actually get here. Be sure to check out our other video where we talk about the reality of seeing the Taj Mahal. From the Taj Mahal, we traveled out the south gate and then through the neighborhood of Tashkent. It was a crazy adventure. We finally arrived at the Salt Cafe Kitchen and Bar. This might be one of the best restaurants in all of Agra. Bougie writes reviews for all the places we eat at, everywhere we stay. She makes notes on the museums. On all the popular review sites, you'll find our reviews listed under the Slow Travel logo. Let me remind you, Slow Travel has no sponsors. We get no compensation from any of the people or places or things that we talk about on our YouTube channel. We also film all our footage while we're traveling. It's all our own. We do everything ourselves. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and spread the word. This channel would not be possible without your support. I know when you're thinking about taking a trip like this, you worry, are you going to be able to find something that you like to eat? Bougie and I weren't really fans of Indian food, but that's only because we never really had it before. Prior to our trip, we sampled Indian food from our local restaurant. It gave us a baseline to understand what we might like and the types of foods that we could possibly eat when we came to India. This little bit of research proved to be really invaluable because it gave you an understanding of what some of the different dishes were, what the taste, the spices were like, and how it might go together. This knowledge gives you the confidence that maybe you want to try some different things when you're actually on your trip.
So this is what's called Peshawar Paneer Tikka, and it's basically like a fried piece of cheese with some spices on it and vegetables. It has a consistency of like tofu. It's got some interesting flavor to it, but it's like a weird kind of texture. It's very interesting. I've never had anything like it.
This is roast Afghani chicken.
Whoa, what do you think about that?
This is like your Xinjiang lamb.
Yeah. That's really good, huh?
Most Indian restaurants are vegetarian. They don't serve meat, so be sure to do your research and find a restaurant that meets your preferences.
That's good.
What do you think? It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Not too spicy.
Yes, indeed, this restaurant has a rooftop bar with views of the Taj Mahal in the distance. This ended up being one of our favorite restaurants over the entire 17 days that we traveled across India. We found everything to be just perfect.
Oh, and that's it. If you come to the Taj Mahal, you gotta come check this place out. Amazing local food, a lot of fusion components, a little bit of Western fare, some different flavors, no matter what your palate might be. Excellent cold drinks, and I gotta tell you, their dessert, this thing called the chocolate melting ball, is just, well, it's something you've got to experience.
They have this dessert dish called the chocolate melting bowl, and we can't wait to see what it's going to be. Oh.
Good thing we didn't get two.
Oh, and look, it opened up. Hey. That's fantastic. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. That's a very decadent dessert. It's really, really pretty good.
That's really good.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
like a vanilla ice cream, maybe some coconut flakes on top.
Yeah.
And this chocolate. Look at that.
All right.
Now, we've only been 2 days in India, but what an adventure taking a day trip to the Taj Mahal by train and then back again at the end of the day.
So this is the Agra station without the crowds. When we arrived, there was a lot of crowds, but we're gonna go in and find our train, just like when we got here.
If you're interested in how the train travel works, be sure you check out our other video where we explain what the process is to catch the train from New Delhi to Agra.
So I want to tell you, a lot of people would say that, you know, this is not really advanced traveling, that you should be able to do this very easily on a train. But I think this is an excellent example of why you really got to know your stuff if you're doing this type of train work, moving between locations. You know, we got to the train station, we got there an hour and a half early. We did all research, figured out which platform it was, went to the platform. When you get to the platform, you got to figure out where the train's going to stop on the platform with your car that you've been designated to get on. So in the case of our trip, we were looking for what's called E2, right? Which is one of the first class cars, and we had to figure out where that was on the platform. But a lot of times the platform signs don't indicate where that's going to be until after the train arrives, and when the train arrives, it's only there for 5 minutes. The train is only at the platform 5 minutes, people getting off, people getting on. So if you're at one end of the platform, and it's a very long platform, you may not be able to walk fast enough to get to the other end of the platform to be able to get on in time. So you have to kind of position yourself in the middle. In the middle, you can walk to one end, or you can walk to the other end, but you definitely can't walk the entire platform. And you have to kind of immediately figure out when the train arrives where you got to go on the platform so you can spend the next few minutes hustling to get to your car, especially if you're in first class. And in our case, all the signs, everything indicated that the train was arriving on platform 3. We're on platform 3, but wouldn't you know it, the train arrives on platform 2, which luckily is on the same platform, it's just the other side. But based off of our position, because we positioned ourselves on 3 for where the train was going to arrive, when it arrived on 2, we were not in the middle of the platform. So now we realized that first class was at the other end, and we had to get out there and hustle to get down to our car. And in some cases, you can't just jump on the train and walk your way through the train to get to first class. Some of the Indian trains, first class is actually blocked off from second class. There is no access. The only way to access first class is from the outside and board the car properly. This is what makes this advanced travel. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing. If we had been looking in the wrong direction, we would have never realized that the train actually arrived on the other platform. Especially when there are multiple trains arriving in multiple places at one time, it can be very, very challenging to figure out where you're supposed to be. And of course, there's no staff to ask. There's no one who can tell you. And all the passengers are standing around trying to figure out the same thing. It's exciting, but let me tell you, it's also nerve-wracking.
Next episode, we're on the road to the holy city of Varanasi on the banks of the Ganges River.
Please join us on our next episode. Remember to subscribe. This channel would not be possible without your
And
support.
spread the word about slow travel. Follow us on YouTube, Mr. and Mrs. Slow Travel. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Go slow,
Doucement.
go travel.
Voyager.